Hello World Wide Web, I'm Dr. Shado, the internet personality with the best hair, and welcome back to...
Yes, sir!
Oh wait, just a ding-dang old minute here.
Well, let's continue on with unmistakable alacrity to Bride of Chucky. While Child's Play 2 came out 2 years after the first and 3 a mere 9 months after the second, Bride of Chucky decided to put things on the back burner for a while and took a whopping 7 years before it came out. Probably has something to do with the fact that 3 damaged the franchise quite so much, and the writer was out of ideas, clearly, but hey, at least we eventually got another sequel that is allergic to the number 4. On the plus side, that break seems to have injected creativity back into the series. Bride of Chucky takes place well after Child's Play 3, where we find out, hey, Charles had a girlfriend way back when. One thing leads to another, the body count rises, and the count of bodies needed to transfer souls into rises. By 1, but nevertheless, let's take a look at Bride of Chucky to see if it was worth the wait, in more ways than one. The story opens on a dark and stormy night. First things first, gotta explain how Chucky comes back. Well, his diced up remains are in an evidence depository along with camping hockey masks, Texan motherfucking chainsaws, a Shatner mask painted white, and a glove with finger knives. But the important part to Police Officer Bailey, played by Vince Carrazza, is the plastic bag, swiping it and driving out of the night. We see he's doing this at the behest of another.
And don't forget my money.
See you soon. And Bailey, don't you forget.
To be fair, if it's anything like my driving an American Truck Simulator, Bailey was still probably on the right side of the road. Point is, he lives long enough to make it to the exchange, but oh darn it, the person buying the bag of evidence is nowhere to be found. Oh well, to pass the time, he decides to have a peek and see exactly what's in the sack. Which leads to him being killed! Because leaving a trail of dead bodies is so much easier to cover up than a couple of bribes, am I right? But who done it? Why, Jennifer Tilly, of course, playing the role of Tiffany, whom gets to work taking the remains of Chucky and putting him back together, all to the banging tunes of Rob Zombie's Living Dead Girl. Oh, excuse me, Rob Zombie's opening title song. Point is, after enough spare parts, polishing up, and sewing, she is the proud owner of a Franken-Chucky. So let's ignore that for now and introduce some stupid kids to worry about for 90 minutes. David, played by Gordon Michael Wolvett, is showing up to take to the dance the niece of Warren Kincaid, played by John Ritter. Introducing us to said niece, Jade, played by Katherine Heigl.
I have to tell you, this guy is a big improvement over the last one. I think your mother and father would have agreed.
My parents liked all my friends.
Yeah, I'm betting like many horror movie characters, they weren't known for making very good choices. Or why exactly aren't they around anymore? But what's this? On his way out, David expresses knowledge of botany? Manly men know nothing of flowers! This is because David is not her date, but a decoy for the real man. Jesse, played by Nick Stabile. Oh, darn it. David's little reverse gay deceivers bit was less than convincing, and Warren called in backup in the form of Norton, played by Michael Louis Johnson. Hey, wait a minute. I thought this was a dark and stormy night. That's better.
Gotcha.
And then he immediately spoils it by starting to giggle. Okay, the horror's a wash. Let's call him Chucky. Tiffany has the doll set up in a handy-dandy pentagram, working off her copy of Voodoo for Dummies and whatever occult supplies she could find at a local Bed Bath & Beyond. Okay, maybe switch out the cinnamon candles for vanilla and citrus and give it another go. No time to try again yet, for there is a knock on the door. Tiffany's acquaintance, Damien, played by Alexis Arquette, known then as Robert. Damien here has the hots for Tiffany, and now she's got a thing for freaky-deaky psycho killers. There's a bit of a problem with his offerings at the altar of her smexiness.
This guy looks awfully familiar. I recognize the nail polish. Shit. You never really actually killed anybody, did you?
Jesus, I swear, modern women are so demanding. That's enough to kick him right out then and there. But, oh, looky here. Chucky has moved. Where could he be? No bother. Damien knows what's important. Getting down and dirty with Jennifer Tilly.
You know what the French call an orgasm?
Eh, oh, ho, ho.
Le petit morte. The little death.
Okay, now I'm just imagining a cute little 2-foot-tall Grim Reaper.
Come on, Tiffany. Let's die a little.
Or a lot. Damien's like, the old good guy's doll. Weird. Tiffany points out it's the real doll from those real killings. But Damien ain't impressed.
Chucky? He's so 80s.
You say that like it's a bad thing. Ah, well, only one thing to do. Chain him to the bed with promises of sexy time. But of course, Tiffany's got ulterior motives here. She's hoping that by providing a handy-dandy gift-wrapped victim, she can coax Chucky to come out of his shell and show her that he lives once more.
Ain't big enough to take care of a woman like you.
It ain't the size that counts, asshole. It's what you do with it.
Hey, but Chuck, it helps to have more to work with, you know what I mean? So Chucky tears off his lip ring, just for the lovely screaming and bleeding it provides, considering the method of execution that he executes is a comparatively clean and simple pillow over the face until his victim suffocates to death. Pure evil. Speaking of evil, Warren shows up to smugly rub in Jade's face his authority over her life and stop her from seeing this unapproved boy.
You fuck! But you won't. Not Jade anyway, not anymore.
Damn, that's cold-blooded. Thus, Jade is taken, and Jesse is threatened with fudged drug tests if he dares to try and stop Warren.
Screw him. If I were you, I would take Jade, get the hell out of Dodge, and never look back.
Yeah, I heard vagrancy is really nice this time of year. Not that Chucky's relationship is perfect. Seems Tiffany found the ring Charles left for her and never took it off. The only problem is that was just a random-ass stolen ring he was intending to hawk for some spending money.
You thought? You haven't changed.
To be fair, even if he wasn't a supernatural force possessing dolls to come back from the dead, he would still probably burst into flames the second he stepped foot in a church. Chucky says the first order of business for him is to get a new body, but Tiffany has heard enough. Charles never loved her like she loved him, so he can go into the baby cage and rot for all she cares.
You're still hung up on the domestic thing. No problem, we'll get hitched.
Sorry, I'm not into short guys.
Feels good to be 6 feet tall. Barely adequate. So Chucky is locked up and has broken Tiffany's heart, so she's not gonna let him out of there anytime soon. More importantly, there's a big frickin' dead guy to dispose of, and he's kinda heavy for her. Not to worry, she just so happens to live in the same trailer park as our resident hunk, Jesse. How convenient.
I've been doing some push-ups. Sorry.
No, that's okay. Can't hurt it, might help.
Tiffany! Where the fuck are you?
Though while Chucky is locked up, that doesn't mean he's entirely out of the picture or earshot. Though, hearing that echoing through a trailer park isn't exactly strange. She doesn't care about Chucky anyway, she's more interested in Jesse's kung fu grip. But he's like, sorry, but I've got another girl. Interestingly enough, this murderous psychopath is okay with this and wishes him well, advising him to treat her correctly.
It's like my mother always used to say, a woman spends all day slaving over a hot stove for a man, the least he can do is the dishes.
Well, that all depends. Did he just come home from a 20-hour shift? And was dinner microwaved? Point is, she heads out to dispose of the body while Chucky stays behind to play with the baby toys. He does keep trying to convince her that if she lets him out, they can get married. So Tiffany decides to meet him halfway.
What's that?
Your bride.
Well, I get the sentiment, but I'm just saying the options for dolls have really opened up in recent years, you know what I'm saying? But looky here, the doll has that ring around her neck. How poetic. Also, how convenient. Charles didn't nab no cubic zirconia, and with the diamond he can break out of the wooden prison. Now to take care of that whole Tiffany problem. the woman lives in a tiny trailer and somehow managed to allocate 70% of the floor space to this spacious luxury bathroom. So she's fucking dead. Or is she? Well, yes, but that just means Chucky can transfer her soul into that handy-dandy bridal doll she just so happened to pick up moments ago. Yeah, I know. Really should have gone for the Xenomorph Queen figure. Missed opportunity on your part. Point is now Tiffany has to work with Chucky, though she begs to differ.
I don't need you. I'll look it up myself.
Oh, go ahead. Chapter 6, page 217.
Which introduces us to one of my favorite things in horror sequels. Massive retconning. Hey, remember how Chucky learned his voodoo from Dr. Death and had to return to him in the first movie to get information on how to transfer his soul out of the doll to a new host before it was too late? Well, fuck that noise. He actually already knew the exact chapter and page on this published book of voodoo to find the information of the Heart of Damballa, a magical amulet that straight up gives you the power to transfer your soul to another, and which Charles Ray already had the night he died, making the entire motivation driving the plot of the last 3 movies completely pointless. Way to go! But of course they buried it with the guy, so they gotta go on a road trip to get it back, which means they need a ride. So Tiffany calls up Jesse like, hey, I got a couple of dolls for you to deliver and $500 if you do.
Yeah, I'll do it. But I want 1,000.
Okay, sweet face. I can give you half now. My friend in Jersey will give you the rest.
Spoken like someone who only has $500 to offer. But Jesse ain't smart enough to figure that one out and agrees. Anyway, makeover time! That bridal doll is nice and all, but it just doesn't scream Tiff, you know? With that taken care of, Jesse comes in via the hidden key as instructed, discovering the $500 and the dolls with instructions on where to take them. So he drives off. Not to New Jersey, but to Jade's place because he's got an idea. They can elope with the power of $1,000!
I can put a deposit on an apartment. I'll get a job. I'll help put you through college.
Okay, calm down, dude. This is 1998, not 1888. The best year we're going to be able to afford is the gas for the trip. She doesn't know that, though, and agrees. So running inside to get her stuff before her uncle gets home.
It's me. This van is parked right in front of my house as we speak.
It turns out he was skulking around the whole time, but didn't confront Jade or Jesse because he has more nefarious plans. Plant weed in the van! 90% chance it's already there, but oh darn it, they locked the door! Oh well, just gives Chucky time to plan the attack and be judged by Tiffany over the lack of creativity.
What about
Predictable.
Rope? Tired. Gun? Boring. Katana. Pathetic weeb. Tiffany does come up with a plan before he comes back, though, popping open the van and planting the drugs, only to be distracted by strange laughter, which, of course, he investigated, and Chucky cuts a cable, setting off the passenger side airbag and jamming nails into the man's face.
Why does that look so familiar?
Hey, spend all that time and energy trying to be original, and oh, look at that, we just did Hellraiser. But what's this? The protagonists are coming back! Don't worry, a few camera cuts is all the time they need to hide the body in the storage area and clean up all the blood. This leaves them none the wiser.
What's the matter?
I could have sworn that door was locked.
Come on, we have to go.
Well, honestly, they're horror movie protagonists. They could have just left the uncle's body lying there, bleeding all over the place, and the guy would be there like, I don't remember your uncle's corpse in our van. Whatever. Did I call her Uncle Maid earlier? Oh, yeah, it was to Officer Dickwad. No surprises here. Well, enough of this. Jade has one question for the man.
All this following us around, is that covered by your regular salary? Or does my uncle pay you extra?
Extra.
Police bribery. Okay, let's mark him down for the body count ahead of time.
Shut up! Oh. Shut up, or I swear to God I'll fucking vaporize you!
Oof, assaulting an officer and threatening them to boot. Man, why does it feel like half the time these characters are lucky that a psycho killer has showed up to change the trajectory of their lives? Oh, that and the plot getting in the way of logic and reason because the cop doesn't even try to stop her for that and lets Jesse send her off to go get food no problem, leaving himself at the mercy of the officer who searches the fan and finds the weed.
Oh, that's bullshit! You know this isn't mine.
You're in a lot of trouble, kid.
Dash cans, just saying, they make ones that point inside for a reason. But Chucky and Tiffany can't get to New Jersey if Jesse gets arrested, so Chucky has an idea. Blow the cop the fuck up! Jade runs over like, what the hell, man? What's going on? And why do I smell fried bacon? Oh, well, only thing to do is run like hell. Jesse is terrified, asking Jade what made her think to do something so psychotic as to explode the police. Jade, however, thought Jesse was a fireworks enthusiast. No bother. David can call them and clear things up. They're all over the news and the cops think they're both responsible. A pair of runaway murderers, having killed that cop using a lighter that belonged to the cop that got killed in the opening. David recommends they turn themselves in. If they're innocent, they've got nothing to worry about. As such, Jesse rejects his proposal out of hand. Best to just run from the cops like felons. Besides, he's got far more important things to worry about than being tonight's special on America's Most Wanted.
We are gathered here tonight to celebrate the union of two people in holy matrimony.
Yes, all 0 people who have gathered here tonight. And whatever, I got my $50. But while they're in there, oh, would you look at that? Her uncle is still alive. For about 12 seconds, give or take. Okay, he's dead again, but now that they're married, it's time for the honeymoon. I really feel like they shouldn't be blowing through his $500 that fast, but what do I know? Spending the night romantically, watching the news talking about their path of horror and bloodshed.
Oh! Excuse me, the door was open. I didn't realize there was anybody in here.
Interrupted, of course, by those random, scantily clad women that just try every door and hope for the best. Diane, played by Janet Kidder, and her newlywed husband Russ, played by James Galanders. You'd think walking half, or 70%, naked into a stranger's room would mean you'd turn your ass around and leave. But why do that when you can be awkwardly bumbling around at least long enough to steal their motherfucking wallet? Unnoticed by the couple, but noticed by the other couple.
That thieving slut. She doesn't deserve to wear that ring.
Cut her some slack. It's not like she's wearing much else. Somehow they haven't spent a cent of that $500, but her disappointment in how little they can steal at this location is interrupted by Russ's desire to bone. This is further interrupted by Tiffany's desire to kill, raining broken mirror CGI upon them, chopping them to bits, which is again interrupted by Chucky's desires to bone. Not that Jesse or Jade have noticed any of this, they're too busy holding secrets from one another. When Jesse gets up and leaves in the middle of the night, Jade quickly calls up David like, David, I need your help. I think Jesse is crazy and killed that cop.
Then you've got to go to the police.
I don't think I can. I still love him. Is that wrong?
Hold on a second.
Yeah, you're not being sure about your husband being a psycho killer and not his concern and all, but hold on, I got a call on the other line. From Jesse! Man, small world, huh? The important thing is it takes them until morning to learn about the dead couple, thanks to the screaming maid, and that's when they decide to say fuck it and leave. I'm just gonna go ahead and assume they grabbed the $500 before they did. Wouldn't be the first batch of inconsistency. As they get to the driveway before arguing with each other about how they can't go through with running with them anymore because they know they are the killer! Yeah, they're still accusing each other.
I can't take this shit anymore!
But David somehow just teleported over there. Even if they told him where they were, it would still take him like all day to get there, right? I mean, unless he took his private jet, I guess. Point is, now they're all on the road together, even before David explains what he came to say. They're both innocent. The way they both confided in him how sure they were the other person was the killer could only mean that neither of them could have possibly been the killer. Never mind that. Honestly, something back here reeks.
I feel like such an idiot.
Oh no, you feel that way for a variety of reasons. But wouldn't you know it, Corpse Uncle just so happens to have a handy-dandy gun. How convenient. So David pulls it on the two of them and demands they pull over and let him out right now, so he doesn't know who to trust. So Chucky and Tiffany just pull out their guns like, fuck it, may as well blow their cover for no reason. Sorry, still getting the hang of this Freightliner. Anyway, now that they're out in the open, the dolls can demand the couple drive the van to escape to New Jersey. Anyway, time for exposition. Hi, I'm Chucky, mass-murdering psychopath, and this is my wife, Tiffany. You know, your old neighbor from the trailer park.
So how did you end up like this?
Well, it's a long story.
It sure is.
In fact, if it was a movie, it would take 3 or 4 sequels just to do it justice.
And if it was a TV series, who knows what in the hell would be going on with that. For some reason, they feel it's perfectly fine to explain to these two that the dolls would like to hop bodies sometime before the end of the day, so just keep your schedules open. But when they reach the cemetery where Charles's body is buried, how will they get it? Well, wouldn't you know it, the radio explains that Charles Lee Ray's fingerprints were at various crime scenes, therefore...
Now, police confirm that Ray's corpse will be exhumed from a Hackensack, New Jersey cemetery sometime today.
Oh, damn, I guess even the authorities realize that these movies only take place over a couple of days, so there's no time for bureaucratic bullshit to get in the way. But that doesn't mean Chucky can't decide they need a new car, a task that takes them well into nightfall, so he can change sets to a nice roomy RV, graciously donated by this couple. At the very least, they won't need it anymore. In between all the kidnapping and murder, Tiffany has still found the time to bake up some fresh cookies for her lovey-dovey. But that's it! That's the key! At no point can Jesse figure out how to not do exactly what the dolls ask, but he can turn them against each other.
Those dishes aren't gonna wash themselves, you know.
Oh, don't worry, there's plenty of ways to make that far more stimulating.
Oh! Dishes are done, man.
You were nice enough to cook for him. The least he could do is wash a dish.
Oh, right, the line, the things. So you're just figuring out now that Chucky's a bit of a dick. That's a natural blonde, isn't it? This is enough to get a good old-fashioned shouting match going on between the two of them, which is just the distraction these two need for Jade to kick Tiffany into the oven before Jesse punches Chucky out of the window. A bit too enthusiastically, causing him to lose control and crash the RV. But things are even worse than they seem. A gas line is broken, and Jade is still tied up, meaning Tiffany can break out of the oven and bite her ear. It's amazing how easy it is to just pick these motherfuckers up and yeet them. I mean, yeah, they're dolls, that makes sense, but these guys have been letting them push him around all the time off screen. But now that he's feeling like an action hero, Jesse can free Jade with a knife before the both of them run away from a huge explosion. But in the confusion, Jesse might be ready to execute Tiffany, but wouldn't you know it, Chucky kidnapped Jade. Somehow. So Jesse kidnaps Tiffany. As it just so happens, they crashed right outside the cemetery with the body of Charles Lee Ray. How convenient. Thus, he can get Jade to retrieve the amulet, and so she does. Because we need this climax to get as bad as it can be for these two as quickly as possible.
Let her go! Let Jade go first!
Get moving.
And we've only got like 8 minutes of movie left, so they don't really have time to question the particular climax trope they found themselves in. So they make the exchange. We take a few seconds to appreciate the deep meaning of true love, romance, and life choices before Chucky throws a knife! But Jesse turns at the last second, saving Jade and catching the knife in his back. So Jade yanks it out and hands it right back to Chucky.
It's showtime.
I swear I am still used to horror movie characters being dumb. But man, now with all the weapons and the brains, Chucky ties them up. Again. Everything is rolling up Chucky today as he begins to cast the spell to transfer their souls into their bodies. But what's this? Tiffany comes up for a kiss and stabs him in the back because poetic or something. That's right, she's a bad guy. Turn bad guy, turn bad guy, turn good guy, and frees the lovers by the end. Except not the end because, I mean, come on, you really expect Chucky to die just because he got stabbed through the heart? Come on now. So they fight until Chucky stabs her. And I guess it works this time. Yeah, whatever. Jesse can shovel Chucky before Jade takes the gun and blows him the fuck away in his grave. Play it where it lays, I guess.
No one's ever gonna believe this, you know that.
I mean, to be fair, the whole series ain't exactly a bunch of stories like, oh wow, that could totally happen. But how will Lieutenant Preston, played by Lawrence Dane, explain this?
Jesse and Jade, Hell, they didn't do it.
Good enough. So the two of them leave, while Preston remains behind to see what's left of the Psycho dolls. Not in a slow zoom out in the sky, but close-up shots that go on for way too long. You know what that means. Sequel bait! Of something that actually does lead somewhere, so that's nice, I guess. Anyway, that was Bride of Chucky. And it's definitely a step in the right direction. While Tiffany's existence is by definition retroactive continuity, it's not bad as she could have existed within the stories presented before, and her presence in Bride of Chucky gives us more angles to explore the character of Charles Lee Ray that we really didn't see anything of before. All the stuff about the amulet of damballa in the Voodoo for Dummies book, yeah, that's just pulling stuff out of your ass, but it still works well enough with the series' clear lean into comedy over pure horror. Finally, we have the rest of the cast, and they're okay, nothing that really jumps out at you, but at least they aren't useless husks taking up space like Andy in Part 3. You got a sense of their goals, their barriers, their challenges, and what makes each of them tick. Subtle and not so subtle hints of subtext that make each of them unique, and decent acting. Honestly, not bad, just not really amazing either. Decent fodder for the body count to rise. At the end of the day, Bride of Chucky is an adequate slasher, which is what people were after in the wake of Child's Play 3. Chucky's back to doing his killing, we get expanded lore with Tiffany, and the supernatural horror is actually expanded on in the sequel bait that somehow even goes somewhere. All in all, not bad, coming in at 3 CGI blades of death out of 5. But what did he even need the $500 for if evidently everything in this world is free? Thank you all for watching. I've been Shado, and remember, dash cams.